Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am so excited that you decided to join me here today for a very, very special speed build because today we are raising money for the Great Ormond Street Hospital for children located in London. And I was so honored to be included in this fundraiser alongside some other fellow Simmers. Now we are doing a Sims 4 build challenge, which I thought was such a fun idea. And today, because I wanted to make sure that my build was as authentic as possible, I did indeed use custom content. So you can find a list of custom content in the description down below. If you're missing any of these smaller elements, it's not a big deal. This build will be on the gallery for you to download. And I did make it a residential rental lot, so all of these units are separate for gameplay. But for the purposes of this build challenge, we were to construct family accommodations. Now, these are provided by the Gosh charity to ensure that there's no additional financial burden on a family when their child is in the hospital seeking treatment. It's one less thing that they have to worry about in a difficult time. And we had a few different options on what we could build. So I decided to go with terraced houses. I thought they would be so beautiful and really, really homey. So we have 3 separate units here, and there are more bedrooms than you may anticipate, which I was really thrilled to be able to put together. Now, in this unit that we're starting off in, because there are 3 separate units, I think we have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. The second unit has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and the third one has 1 bathroom and 2 bedrooms, I believe. So there's kind of a combination of everything. Now, what I did is I furnished 2 out of 3 lots, and I left the third for you all to furnish for yourself if you wanted to add this for any gameplay ideas, if you had like a certain family in mind, if you wanted to kind of play around with that, you could absolutely do that. But I thought that was kind of a nice way to balance things out. And then since it's going to be a residential rental lot, there are a lot of shared spaces because one of the primary goals that we wanted to have here were some shared lounge areas and recreational areas for these families to be able to get together and socialize. So we have a few separate back gardens, but they're all shared spaces. There's gates connecting all of them. And I believe there's a couple of grills, some picnic tables. We have monkey bars for the kids. And I also have 2 garages that are attached to each end unit. There's one at each end unit. And I wanted to leave those open for you all as well to add any additional activities. Like you could add a card table. I don't know if you didn't want to use this for if you didn't want the garages to be shared spaces, because I left them as shared spaces in this build when it's uploaded to the gallery. But if you wanted to make sure that those were restricted to the particular units, it would be a great opportunity to add like workout equipment or anything like that, any kind of indoor activity that might be a little bit more restricted to a garage, maybe something not temperature controlled, right? But I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Gosh charity as well. Now, I do have a fundraising link in the comments down below and the description. It would be amazing. It is never something that you have to do when I'm doing any form of fundraising. It is just something that I want to pose to my community because it's really for a good cause, but do not feel as though you have to donate or anything like that. Honestly, just watching this video and commenting down below is super helpful to reach more people so we can raise more money for an amazing cause. Now, I went into the debug menu as well for cottage living and found these little, I think they're supposed to be street signs, but I thought they were great little labels for each unit. It just kind of added to the authenticity. And I was actually in the debug menu for cottage living a lot because I didn't even mention, we're building in Henford on Bagley. Now, this is where the Gnome's Arms used to be as well. And I thought this was kind of the perfect spot for some terraced houses. Instead of out in the country, I thought this was really suited for more of a city vibe or kind of a town center. Granted, we don't really have like a huge city, but I thought that this was kind of a nice place to put them. So if you're wondering where this lot is, it's where the Gnome's Arms was previously. And now we're on to the interior of this very first unit. And I'm so excited because some of the CC I use, you could probably tell I use custom content windows, which are just absolutely beautiful. I believe they're by Peacemaker. And then inside, I found, and I was on the hunt for this specifically for this build because I wanted it to be really cozy and warm and welcoming, basically an oasis away from the hospital is the thought. I wanted it to be very, very cozy. So I ended up finding this beautiful custom content. Well, it's kind of a collection of sets, but it's like, I think it's the Forever Autumn set. Again, it's all down below if you want to download it, but it's beautiful. I didn't end up using these couches from it, but I did use the wallpapers and things like that. I also used the organic sets, maybe multiple sets. I'll have to take a look at the list again, by Harry and Felix Andre, which was amazing as well. Everything just went together really, really nicely. And you'll notice that even though the floor plans of each unit are ever so slightly different, they're also very similar. I don't know, I think the space is limited in some areas, but bigger in others, and I'll try to make sense of that. So in the third unit that I ended up not furnishing, just kind of laying out appliances and things, the kitchen and the dining space is pretty big, and then in the second unit, the living space is smaller, as an example. But I really loved the color schemes that I went with. I just used variations of the same objects for the most part, for what I could fit. So I used this cats and dogs couch in 2 of the 3 units that I furnished. I also used the same countertops, but in different swatches, things like that. And I think this unit primarily ends up having, it's more of a blue and beige color scheme. The second unit has more of a green color scheme. And then the third one's actually a bit blue as well. But there's just a lot of light and airy colors to make it very welcoming and very, very relaxing. Blue, I think, is, I want to say that's kind of a universal calming color. I think that's how it's labeled. I don't really know. And this layout does change a little bit as well, just because I was trying to get a feel for the space, and I was also trying to use this TV, which was custom content from one of those collections that I mentioned a couple of moments ago. It is a nice flat, like, art TV, kind of like the one that we have, but with, of course, different pieces of artwork that are a little bit more relaxing, and they're all painting, and it's beautiful. Some of the custom content I used were also these pillows. I thought they were so sweet and just looked really cozy. There's also a handful of toys and whatnot for different age groups. So in this unit, for example, I believe that there is, well, actually not even toys. So there is a crib in this unit for an infant, and then I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the voiceover anyway, but then in the second one, there's like a toddler room. So we have toddler toys and a high chair and the toddler potty, just to make sure you can give them everything they need. There's also shower tub combos in every single unit for those varying age groups, because you would have to give infants and toddlers baths, whereas children, of course, can go ahead and take showers. But I wanted to make sure we had combos in every unit as well. And then in that second unit, there are 2 single beds down in the basement with kind of a child's play area. So there's like a bookshelf and a little play tent and a toy chest and things like that. I just wanted there to be a few different things for different age groups, depending on how big the families are that end up staying here. You know what I mean? I thought that was a really nice way to approach it. Now, I decorated the hallway and the living space, and then we move right on to the kitchen. And I actually didn't film the furnishing upstairs because I wanted this video to be a little bit shorter. I wanted it to be able to reach more people. That way we could raise more money for this amazing charity. And you'll see all the screenshots at the end. I show screenshots of the first unit, the second unit, the back garden, and everything in between, as well as the basement. But I love this kitchen. It was a decent size, and something that I learned from my dear friends, Rachel Ped and Reese, who live in the UK, is that washers and dryers, or kind of like the separate washrooms, may or may not be connected to kitchens, and sometimes the washer and dryer is actually in the kitchen. I think typically they're under the countertops. We don't have that functionality in The Sims 4, so I did add washers and dryers to, I think, all of the kitchens. In the second unit, they might be tucked away in a little teeny tiny 2-tile mudroom type of situation, just because I couldn't really fit them in the kitchen because it was a little bit small, but I wanted to add that detail as well. And we've got this big, I think, would that be considered a double apron sink? Possibly. I also added an electric kettle to every single unit because I think that would just be a necessity in some British terrace houses, personally. I thought that was a nice detail to add. There's also a 4-seater dining table for each unit. Now, if you did want to kind of extend more communal areas, maybe the kitchens could be made available as shared spaces. That way anybody could come together and they could go ahead and eat meals together and stuff like that. That could be kind of nice. It all depends on how you want to kind of route things for whatever your gameplay is. I also added radiators in all of these rooms because I thought that was kind of a nice touch with some older housing, but older housing that's still been upgraded and is a little bit more contemporary and cozy. But we are reaching the end of the speed build portion. I hope you all enjoyed the screenshots. Definitely check out the fundraiser link down below, and I am just so grateful to have been included in this fundraising campaign for Gosh. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
fight the darkness.